I've been asked by the boss to make Kueh Seri Mukah, or Kueh Salat as it's known in Singapore and Malaysia. Kueh Seri Mukah translates literally into beautiful face or smooth face kueh, and it's found in Southeast Asia, basically Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, and some variants even in Thailand. So come with us as we fly solo on a journey to make Kueh Salat. To start with, we'll need 400 grams of glutinous rice, white glutinous rice. Wash and drain the rice a few times to remove excess starch. Once you've done that, top it up with clean water and let it soak for 2 to 5 hours, depending on where you are. Then what you want to do is you want to strain the rice in a sieve or a colander and let it drip dry. Now this next step is optional. I use the blue pea flour powder and it's available online. I find it adds character to the finished kueh. Now to flavor the rice, to 100 mils of water, I add 1 teaspoon of sea salt. And I also add 150 mils of coconut milk. To that solution, I add about 1 teaspoon of pandan essence. This is available from most Chinese or Asian supermarkets. Add that mix to the drained glutinous rice from earlier and give that a mix. Grab an appropriate baking dish and either wipe it down with a neutral oil or a cooking spray. Do not use olive oil as it will flavor the kueh. Now tip the rice and coconut solution mixture into that dish and spread it out to prepare it for steaming. So over a medium fire, bring some water to boil in an appropriate steamer. I'm using a large wok here. Now I've added in some water and I'm going to cover this and allow this to come to a boil. Now I place the steamer insert and the rice into the wok and I'll let it steam for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the rice and give it a fluff using a spoon, fork, or suitable implement. Now, this is where you use your blue pea solution. Drizzle it randomly over the hot steamed rice and give it a mix before you put it back in the steamer and steam it for another 10 minutes. After steaming for another 10 minutes, remove the rice from the steamer and fluff it again. Then, using a flat-bottomed glass or a burger press or a meat press, press the rice down into the bottom of the dish so that you've got a flat surface. Put it back into the steamer with the flame off to keep it warm. Now to make the luscious topping for this pandan kueh, you add 250 ml of coconut milk and 150 ml of plain water, some sea salt, and some green pandan essence. Now, if you don't have green pandan essence, it's fine. Use the regular one and add a couple of drops of green food coloring. Give the solution a good mix to ensure that the color is evenly distributed. Now, in a medium-sized mixing bowl, break 3 eggs and 150 grams of plain granulated sugar and give that a good whisk to incorporate that. And to that, the pandan solution, as well as the 2 types of flour, the tapioca as well as the all-purpose flour. Now, using a large whisk, give that a good mix and run it through a sieve. You will have lumps and you will have to use your whisk to break up the lumps as much as you can. I run it through a sieve twice actually to make sure that I get most of the lumps out. Now you can cook the custard in a water bath, or in my case, a flat-bottomed pan over a medium-low heat. Keep stirring constantly so that you don't have lumps forming. In this case, you can see one here. Stir until you get a thickened solution that coats the back of the spoon. Now, if you followed me so far, the rice would still be warm when you take it out of the steamer, and you can then pour this solution over the warm rice. It's important that the rice is warm, not cold, or the top will not stick to the bottom. Now, once you've gotten all the custard out, give the entire dish a few taps. This will raise air bubbles to keep the surface smooth. At this point, fill the steamer again with water and bring it back up to boil. While it's coming to boil, secure a tea towel to the underside of your cover. I use rubber bands in this case. Now, the purpose of this is to make sure that condensation doesn't form on the underside of the cover and drip back down to the surface of your kueh, spoiling its appearance. Another thing you need to do is to lift the cover by placing a couple of long chopsticks across the top of the pot. Steam it for about 30 to 40 minutes until a wooden skewer stuck in the center comes out clean. Once it's finished steaming, let it cool in the dish for 3 to 4 hours. This will allow it to separate from the oiled dish cleanly. Also, use a plastic knife or in this case, a plastic bench scraper to get clean, clear lines. So enjoy, because this is one of my favorites.